The police are going down the street right now. They're taking the stones right to the shields. Can't say exactly what's going on. Let's come up in here, John.
Those are the officers who have those safety shields there, but they're just absolutely getting pummeled by rocks and bricks. And now the protesters move toward them.
You know, I can see the officers who do not have the gear on seem to be running obviously a little bit faster. Wow, what are they throwing?
This is what these young people are throwing. Sharp bits of concrete. I saw one young man pick up a slab of concrete, break it off so he could throw it at the police. Sharp, heavy, they're throwing it from tremendous distances.
What we do know is that they're criminals. They attacked officers without provocation.
Fuck the police. But that's not right, though. That ain't right, though. It be fuck the police, but that's on our block, though, bruh. Now we destroying our homes. Now we destroying our community. For what?
But just to give you some of the background, there was a flyer that went out in Baltimore City schools earlier today saying that there's going to be a purging. The event of this purging was supposed to start at Mondawmin Mall at 3 o'clock, which, just like clockwork, they are at Mondawmin Mall.
Right now, that mall is not a place you want to come to, as the situation here is very tense. Objects are being thrown, police in tactical gear, and Dave, I have to tell you, I don't have a good feeling that things are going to cool down as the night progresses.
I'm saying I looked in the faces of these people, and they were throwing rocks and laughing about it, and it was almost seeming as though it was a game to them, something that they could do and get away with. Now, that is not to suggest that there is not a lot of anger, a lot of frustration in these communities. There are 40,000 plus vacant homes in Baltimore City. West Baltimore is a tough area. There are no grocery stores. There are very few jobs.
We're seeing people right now going into that CVS pharmacy there. This is, I think, the worst case scenario. This is exactly what city leaders have been fearing.
We have a team of men from the church going to North Avenue now to pull back those young people who are absolutely out of control so that we can bring some order. This is a peaceful movement.
At police vehicles. The police vehicles being pelted here by wood, by rocks. This is basically a scene here in Leon Allison where anything these rioters can get their hands on, they are throwing. We are using that window was just shattered there, that squad car. They're using riot gear inside of the squad car to protect themselves. I've been doing this for 5 years. I have not seen anything like this before. It's tense down here, certainly tense. Looks like that we do have some tear gas in the air. I'm going to try to gather my thoughts here.
This is just some of the damage that they have done. Look at this car burning in flames on the street. Fire crews responding to it, but getting through those crowds obviously has been really difficult for them in the middle of all of this chaos. But this is a disturbing video we just saw in that neighborhood. A gentleman assaulted as he walks toward that crowd there. Very unruly situation.
This is once again Pennsylvania Avenue, North Avenue. The CVS now, as we can see, is on fire.
Well, here's what we got going on. We got the fire department behind me trying to put out this fire at the CVS. The CVS caught fire after it was looted earlier, and you can hear the alarm going off. I think that's actually the building alarm that finally went off after the building had been on fire for about 15 minutes here. So you can see Baltimore City firefighters desperately trying to put this fire out. As they're trying to push the fire out, they're being protected by a big police line over there. This comes from the looting. This does not come from the fire. The CVS over there was looted, and then it caught on fire. But in the meantime, prescription drugs were just out on the street. People were sorting through them, one of our reporters saw, stealing whatever they could. Look at this right here. Look down here. Pink and black pills right on the ground.
Now, I'm going to carefully go in here. We've been seeing people run in and out of this store. This one's got a bat right here on the right.
Be careful. Just go.
As you can see, they have blasted through. People have been going in and out, pretty much taking everything that they want out of this store. We're going to carefully get out of here.
I'm a lifelong resident of Baltimore, and too many people have spent generations building up this city for it to be destroyed by thugs.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, at least 10 guys around there, and look like they're having success. They're prying that right side open. And of course, if they can get into that Rite Aid pharmacy, they'll have access to all kinds of things. Oh, is that a cash register?
Oh, is that what it is?
Holy smokes. Looks like she might be picking up change. Is that what you said, Rich?
Yeah.
Yep. Literally has the cash register in her hand.
There she goes. She's gonna get in the car.
She's trying to cover her face up while she gets into this vehicle.
I hate to overuse the term war zone, but again, that's what it looks like here. This fire truck just arrived a moment ago, but look at this. This is from before. These are two of the vehicles that were set on fire earlier. You can see all that's left of that van, all that's left of this car. This fire truck just arrived, and the reason is that CVS fire we've been telling you about. You can see the smoke from it in the distance there, and firefighters trying to put it out.
Which we knew
Josie,
was burning before.
Josie, we want to interrupt you to give you this latest news. Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland has just signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency in Baltimore.
Now we're going to go over to the front side. We just got this tip from our photographer, Van Applegate. He literally pulled up onto the scene. These folks are just shamefully loading up and pulling off.
Stop, stop.
Now we're going to get a front view. Again, we got to be very careful.
Careful.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Someone just hit us with something.
It's just trash.
A milk bottle. Now they're going after us. Someone just threw something at us, so we're going to take a spin around.
Okay.
Breaking news tonight, a state of emergency in Maryland as Baltimore is ravaged by violent riots. Now the National Guard is on the way.
15 police officers were hurt, 24 people were arrested. We watched the violence unfold live on ABC 7 throughout the afternoon and the evening. We saw crowds throwing stones, looting stores, and setting fires, all while hundreds of police officers in riot gear tried to get the situation under control. Neighbors watched in horror.
What if somebody's kid was in that car? Somebody's mother. Not only Freddie Gray is gone, but now somebody's mother gone.
Amid all the chaos tonight, a 3-alarm fire related to the violence. This all centers on the death of Freddie Gray while in police custody. His family is going to speak any moment now, and we have team coverage of the situation with our reporters in every corner of that city.
So let's get things started with our Maryland Bureau Chief, Brad Bell. Brad, you're standing by for a statement from the Gray family?
They don't want to be identified, but you know who I'm
Yeah,
talking
and that's
about.
happening right now. I'm in the New Shiloh Church where Freddie Gray's funeral was today, and if we can pan over, we can take a quick look at the family, and I think we can perhaps play a soundbite from what we heard just a moment ago. The family is pleading with the city for peace.
So this was a wonderful coming together tonight, and my main interest is in facilitating the family's view about all of this, because everybody's been asking us. Everybody wants to know. And so now you know. Now, see these ministers up here, men from all walks of life? They came together because to a person, they're interested in stopping this violence, and to a person, they are interested in ending police brutality. And to a person, they have a vital stake in this, a personal stake. Let me ask you all a question that we asked earlier tonight. How many of you know somebody close to you or yourselves have been victims of police brutality? Please raise your hand. Look all around you.
Okay.
Look all around you.
Okay.
Look all around you.
All right, that is Attorney Billy Murphy, who represents the family. He has been speaking
So
here.
this
We
isn't
heard
an isolated
from
problem.
Freddie
This is
Gray's
a
mother just a little
community-wide
while
problem.
ago, and she pleaded
Now, how many of you
with the
think this is
city
limited
to come to peace. She
just
said
to
this is
Baltimore,
not
Maryland?
what Freddie would have wanted.
Nobody
It has been a
believes that.
tough day out here. This
We
is where
are
our
a
coverage
similar
day began
city
for the
to
funeral of
almost
Freddie Gray,
everyone
right
in this
here in
country.
this sanctuary.
And
And
this
then the
is
protests
happening
began.
all over the
Take a
place.
look.
It's happening in big...
It begins at 3, just as high school lets out. Young people who've been threatening a purge on social media head to Mondawmin Mall. Police who'd been tipped off were there in force. Having been just blocks away covering the funeral of Freddie Gray, we arrive on scene quickly and we see the violence as we report live. Here we go. Watch this man in the blue hoodie. Watch him. So he just threw a full paint can. Hundreds of police hold their ground as they are pelted with rocks and chunks of concrete. 15 officers are injured. The situation grows more violent. Cars are set on fire. Rioters ignored pleas from their own neighbors to stop.
And we need to sit down and talk about this. I don't know why, but it's happening. We want justice, okay?
There was a very loud bang. I couldn't see what it was. It could have been a brick on one of the plastic shields. Here's a police officer here. Oh, it was tear gas, pepper spray. Here's a police officer right here, choking and gagging. Eventually, the rock throwers head elsewhere, and police go to try to head them off. That leaves the original target of Mondawmin Mall unprotected, and hundreds of looters sweep in. Police race back to the scene. These people are caught red-handed. It's a long night for the town. This police officer shows us damage done to his car. He is shaken.
Didn't know where to go. Glad I go to church.
Between black men
back live now. It was an
police.
Extraordinary meeting that happened in here earlier this evening. Clergy from the city, as well as gang members from the Bloods, the Crips, and the Black Guerrilla family, all meeting together to try to project a united front to tell those who are out there throwing those rocks and setting these fires that it has got to stop. It is not what Freddie Gray would have wanted, and now they hope that that message gets out.
And there were lots of
Brad
people
Bell,
in the
ABC 7
establishment
News.
anxious to
Right,
breathe
thank you,
down.
Brad. We've got a long ways to go tonight to see if that message is heard. Now, to other breaking news. Right now, we are on the scene of a huge 3-alarm fire at a Baltimore senior center. This is in the eastern part of town. We're told the building there was under construction. And tonight, we know that this massive fire is tied to tonight's rioting. Tom Rousey's on the scene. Tom, what's the latest?
Throwing people out. That's what we're hearing. Somebody set this on purpose, apparently, and the ATF is investigating tonight. I'm going to step out of the way. This is North Chester Street behind me, and firefighters with Baltimore Fire have been fighting this for just about 2 hours now. It is proving very difficult to get it out, and this is a very sad story here because this fire that was set on purpose destroyed something that was going to be a very good thing for the community. Here's video we took shortly after we arrived on scene tonight. I talked to the pastor of Southern Baptist Church, which is just catty-corner to where this construction site was. This was an 8-year dream of the churches. They started raising money 8 years ago. They were building 60 senior housing units on this property, and there was also going to be health care for the seniors. They say it was going to be a wonderful thing for the elderly in this community, but tonight somebody set it on fire on purpose and has burned down the dream.
Jay Korf continues our live team coverage in Baltimore now. Jay?
Allison, we got some breaking news, and I'm going to step out of this shot. About 15-20 minutes ago, we saw firefighters rushing from our scene, which was just a few blocks away. We saw smoke. Now look at this intersection of Fulton and North. Not one, but 2 cars are ablaze on fire. There's a couple more nearby. There's a concern that those could catch on fire. Firefighters and police are in the area. They're taking a look at this, but they're kind of keeping their distance, as they have in many cases throughout this terrifying day.
It's horrifying. It's horrifying, but I know that it could have been avoided.
Sections of Baltimore spun out of control Monday. Police defended parts of the city in riot gear, while neighborhoods plunged into chaos. Fully engulfed. Car fires, looting, and violence erupted only hours after a man killed while in police custody was laid to rest.
Nobody can tell anybody that something did not go wrong when that guy was locked up.
Frank House watched in disbelief as residents literally picked apart parts of Charm City. He understands the frustration, but says this is not the solution.
I would say that this doesn't work. This doesn't work. I understand why, but this doesn't work.
Kevin, what's the governor saying?
Hi there, Leon. The governor, known for his mild manner, straight out called these rioters lawless gangs of thugs. He also more or less says he wishes the mayor of Baltimore had requested this state of emergency sooner.
This is lawless gangs of thugs roaming the streets, causing damage to property and injuring innocent people, and we're not going to tolerate that.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan speaking pointedly about the mayhem in Baltimore. Around 6:30 this evening, Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blank called Hogan, asking him to declare a state of emergency. Tonight, Hogan all but said the mayor waited too long.
And our entire team has been involved from day one. But frankly, this is a Baltimore City situation. Baltimore City was in charge.
Moments ago, Freddie Gray's mother had this message for those who are rioting tonight.
I want y'all to get justice for my son, but don't do it like this here. Don't tear up the whole city, man, just for him. It's wrong.
The destruction continues this morning. This is the latest fire. We are on West Pratt Street. This 3-alarm fire started shortly before 5 o'clock this morning. There are more than 100 firefighters on the scene, and we're told that more units are being called in as they try to knock down the rest of this fire. You can see the pawn shop, and it looks like the restaurant next door completely destroyed at this hour as they continue to fight this latest fire. And the destruction is really widespread from east to west. Across the street from this fire, take a look at this beauty supply shop. It is also completely destroyed. Mike, watch your step. A lot of glass here. All of the windows and the doors busted, and you can see inside the store, it is absolutely trashed. And this is the scene in so many areas for blocks and blocks.
There's a big crowd in here. I want to show you what's going on, because this is an example of what we're seeing all across the town. It's dark, but you can see this is the interior of that burned out CVS store. And it is packed with people cleaning up. You can hear people pledging to clean it up. What a disaster in here. What a disaster. I don't know if it's too dark for you to see it or not, but you can see down the shelves of the interior of this looted store. It is a mess. You can see most of the shelves had been emptied before the fires were actually set. Terrible scene. Let's see if we can make our way back outside again.
There's no excuse for the kind of violence that we saw yesterday. It is counterproductive. When individuals get crowbars and start prying open doors to loot, they're not protesting. They're not making a statement. They're stealing.
And you can see just the massive showing of National Guardsmen along Pratt Street here. We're going to just continue walking just to show you that about every 10 to 20 feet, another guardsman is standing with their weaponry in hand. This is certainly the gem of the city of Baltimore, obviously a very high tourist spot. And they want to send the message that there is not going to be any rioting in the city, and certainly not here in the Inner Harbor.
I'm here at the burned out CVS, the CVS that we watched on television burn yesterday as it was looted. A much different scene today as volunteers have come out to clean out this CVS. As a matter of fact, volunteers have panned out all over this West Baltimore community. A community that last night was filled with rioters, today is filled with volunteers. People from the neighborhood, people from all over Baltimore City have come to clean the streets. We talked to one woman, an educator, who says that she's out here with her students to teach a very important lesson.
We care. It's a deeper meaning than all the looting and everything that you're saying. You got to hear the voice of the community. They feel like they're voiceless. And I get passionate about it because I see it on a day-to-day basis. And I'm a product of the community. And I'm a product of urban education. And they have lost so much.
Lots of volunteers cleaning up today here on the streets of Baltimore, but also a very, very heavy police presence. Everything is quiet so far, and everyone is also hoping that it remains that way through the rest of the day and into the evening.
This is the story of this city. Too little, too late. You see what I'm saying? It took them too long to answer the questions about Freddie's death. It took these police too long to get up here to save this area. You know, it's just a matter of too little, too late.